Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Dhaifullah Muhajir from class Metode Numerical 03. And today I will review my quiz answer. Okay, so first of all, before we start our activities, it would be good for us to pray first to the Almighty God, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, so that everything we do receives blessings and is from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Raditu billahi rabba wa bil islami dina wa bi Muhammadin nabiyya wa rasulah. Rabbi zidni ilma wa rizqni fahma. So, we we will discuss about the quiz that we do last week, where we still use the five framework, where we have the first step intention, where intention is our initial aim when working on or completing something. This intention should be also be based on for the sake of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, so that everything we do receives blessings and is from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So there is four intention that why we review this quiz. The first one is to gain understanding. I intend to have a good and deep understanding about numerical method and try to apply the five framework in problem solving. The second point is to evaluate mistakes that we made. This review also made me aware of every mistakes that I made in quiz, so I can evaluate and find the right answer. So with the review this quiz, I can scan where I made a mistake and I can clarify the mistakes that I made. And then the third point is to prepare ourselves for the final test. This review also made me study more about topics in numerical method, so I became more prepared for the final test. So the final test will be held tomorrow, and this final task is uh, made me more prepared about what I am going to do tomorrow, and this made me like what I say earlier. It made me have a good understanding and deep understanding about the topics in medical method. And then the last intention is to receive blessings from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Everything that we do, we must put Allah in it. So it will make ease in our way and we will receive blessing. Uh, in every intention of our activity, we really should put Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala first because He is the creator and He made a way for every possibilities and every problem. The problem comes from him, and the way of solving the problem is also come from him. So, my intention is also to receive blessing and ease from Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. That is the intention for the uh, the review. I hope with this intention I can uh, maximize my presentation. So we move to the second step of die 5. It is initial thinking. So last week, Mr. Dahi gave us four uh, problems where uh, four problems for the quiz. And the first one is I have to elaborate my understanding of conscious thinking using die 5 concept. And then the second question is consider a problem in engineering that is required to solve using numerical method. Use die 5 to deal or solve this problem. And then the third question is if there is value added of die 5 used in your learning process or experimental learning, then explain. And the last question is do self-evaluation and write it down, or we call it in Islam just muhasabah. So we go to the first question to elaborate my understanding of conscious thinking using the five concept. And my answer is, yeah, die 5 is a framework or way to solve a problem where it has 4 points. The first one is intention. The second one is initial thinking. The third one is idealization. And the fourth one or the last one is instructional set, where the 4 point should be started with conscious thinking. Conscious thinking is like we aware of what we are doing, and we put Allah I mean, we are aware that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is watching, and that it makes us have a full consciousness about what we do, and we have a good intention of solving the problem. So, uh, I can clarify that the understanding of conscious thinking using the five concept is we have to start everything with conscious mind, with clear mind. We have to remember that everything we do is seen by the Almighty God, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, and then we are aware of we are doing. So we have a clear mind when we are solving the problem, and then we enter the die five concept, uh, which I explained earlier. It has 4 points: intention, initial thinking, realization, and instructional set. Well, I also use Dive 5 in explaining this quiz review, where I put the intention uh, or my aim to, where I put my aim in solving or presenting this quiz. And then the second point is initial thinking. We have to know what are the component or what we should solve. And then this is the idealization and instruction set. I put it together because idealization alone is formulating equations according to the initial thoughts that we know, and the instruction set is a solving problem using equations must adhere to rules or principles. So we don't, we are not allowed to do something outside the principles that have been stated. And then this is my idealization instruction set for number one. And then we go to the second question where we have to consider a problem in engineering that is required to solve using numerical method. And we use the 5 to solve this problem. Okay, for the question number two, we have um, example. I am a software engineer who wants to build an application for storage optimization. So first of all, I need to be conscious for what I'm going to do. I have intention to make things goes more efficient and easy. I also can't forget that I'm doing all of this because of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And with His help, I can do anything. Second step is I need to know the objects, environment, and the capacity of the storage. It is called initial thinking. Uh, then I'm going to use numerical method to help the optimization. I will use linear programming to solve this problem. I use objective function to minimize cost of storage. So when I use objective function, it enters the third point that is idealization, where to do minimization, to minimize the variable, I have 10x1 plus 20x2 plus 30x3. This is a method or way to minimize the variable. And then for this example, cost per unit is C110, C220, C330, and the space required per unit is S15, S10, and S315. This answer is including idealizations and instruction set because we uh, we do some notes that we formulate equation in here, and then we solve the problem using the equations that are uh, true or according to the right principle. So we do the calculations where we use objective function. We have 10x1, 20x2, and 30x3 plus 0s. And then the constraint is 5x1, 10 plus 10x2 plus 15x3 and plus 15 equal to 100. We use the table and then we find the x3 is 6.662 and the x1 and the x2 is 0. And we find s equal to 0. And then we times 30 with uh, 6.6, 6.67 equals to 200. So we find the answer that the optimal cost is $200 achieved by storing only item 3 due to its cost efficiency. And then we move to the third question. Uh, if there is value added to day five, we say day five in my learning process. Then explain. So yeah, day five method is really helped me in many ways in my life. Uh, because more importantly, in problem solving case. With day five, I feel like I become more patient and smart in problem solving. With conscious thinking, principle, I feel like I'm not alone and more confident when I have to make a decision. I also feel more awake with conscious thinking. The steps in day five that Mr. Dai taught us also bring more careful and structural way to solve problem. I want to analyze day five method in my life, not only to solve a problem, but also at every aspect in my life. So with Dive, I make a conclusion where Dive 5 is a very functional framework. With Dive 5, I think I think more carefully and structural because Dive 5 alone has four like important point, and it really helps me to think carefully and structural. And then with conscious thinking, I also feel like I'm more awake and not alone because I know that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is watching. I feel more awake because I conscious about what I'm going to do. And then yeah, it really helped me not only to solve a problem but also at every aspect in life. I think the five framework is not always for problem solving, but it can be for like uh, the way you're going to uh, doing your life, not only in a problem solving, but also then you can use it to decision making or in, in every aspect that needs a solution. So we move to the fourth question, last question, self-evaluation or muhasabah. So yeah, sometimes I'm still lazy at exploring things because I still distracted by so many factors. There is many assignment, organizational things, and yeah, everything that going on now. What I must to do is fix my time management and prioritize the important things first. I must prioritize my academic grades so I can make my parents proud. I also need to be more active in class so that all of my questions got answered. And last thing is, I also need to do everything with intention for Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. I must pray and believe that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is watching and eager to help. So the conclusion is, um, I'm still a lazy person right now, but I have so many activities like organizational and assignment from other subject. So what I want to do is I have to um, prioritize my academic grade so I can make my parents proud. And I also need to remember that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is always there to help me, so I can finish or go through all of my problems. And yeah, I have to eliminate my laziness, and I have to do, or I have to, you know, uh, do explore things in engineering because I'm alone. I'm an engineering student, so I be more aware and be more uh, educated about engineering things. So that is my quiz review. I hope I have answered it all. And thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.